What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Bleedless podcast. The Dodgers went 7-2 in their three-city road trip. Our bullpen is number one in MLB, and Dodger legend hangs up his hat. All that and more coming up next. Hello again and welcome back. Anthony and I are your co-hosts and producer Rogers behind the scenes. Before we get started, we want to tell you about DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest coverage of the LA Dodgers. It is your one-stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. What's going on, Anthony? We are almost all the way through May and we've got a lot of good news to talk about. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a past few couple days. I'll leave it at that. Kind of like the stresses of, oh, I didn't graduate, my sister did, but kind of like setting up a party. You set up, you're up early, you're running errands. The party actually gets here, you have a good time, and you wake up the next morning, you realize you have to clean up and all that. So I'm kind of happy. I go back to work tomorrow. I would have the Monday off, but I do have some stuff planned up here in the start of June where I kind of had to work tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, kind of just get me to a normal day. It feels like the past 3 days have kind of been all over the place compared to normal.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of your sister. She must be so excited. So all in all, yeah, it's a lot of work to have, an event and a big momentous celebration like that. But was she just on cloud nine graduating?
She was, yeah. There's also some like nitpicking here in graduations. Not everyone and their moms has to give a speech. I understand it. Like the valedictorian, yeah, the dean, yeah, and like maybe a professor or two, but the ceremony was supposed to start at 5. It didn't start till 6:30, and by the time we ran through speeches, it kind of ruins the moment because we all thinking like, oh, we're going to take some pictures with the sunset, nice
Mhm.
sunlight, and by the time we get out, it's like super dark, and we're like, well, let's try to take as many pictures as we can before we have to head out, basically. So, all in all, I'm happy for her. She achieved her moment. 2 more years and she becomes a nurse. So this is basically step one, the hardest step. So now she has to go all the way and finish it. But yeah, with graduations, not everyone deserves to give a speech. Like, and what are we doing? Like extending it. Don't make the moment about you. It's about the graduates.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, I feel you. I've been through several of those rounds in my own family, and yeah, it can get a little long. But I guess everyone wants to just celebrate because at the end of the day, not everyone gets to feel, the success or the accomplishment of that. And so when you do have it, we all want to just kind of celebrate together. And she's definitely lucky to have a brother like you to support her. And so that just makes it that much sweeter when you celebrate with those you love the most. So another congrats to her. But yeah, so congrats to the Dodgers too. So they got it done in the last couple of series. Now we have had an episode after the Angel series and just before the Padres, and for whatever reason, the Padres are the ones that I always want to beat the most. I don't know what it is. I just get a little more into it when I see them. But really cool fun fact about before we get into the individual numbers of the season, we are 33-20. And that is exactly where we were exactly a year ago on this date. So we are literally just an even match. We had our 17th comeback win today. What are your overall takeaways? And does it feel like kind of like a little bit of a replica of last season to you or not?
It does feel like a little bit like a copy and paste of last year. It feels like sometimes you think the Dodgers figured it out and then they drop a stinker on you offensively. I feel like our most solid pieces have been our bullpen and our starting pitching. I know there's been a few hiccups here and there with the starting pitching, but those are the kind of the guys where I look at the consistency of throughout the whole season. Like, yeah, they've been awesome. Offensively is kind of like where we've been a roller coaster. Like these past two games, that kind of proven like what the Dodgers are capable of doing offensively. But if you look towards that first game of the Padres series where they get shut out in a pitcher's duel, sometimes like it just happens. Like there's nothing you can really do. You get outdueled, and all it takes is one solo home run early on in the game, and next thing you know, game's over.
Yeah. And it's sad because I guess aside from today, which I know we'll get into the Brewer series, but yeah, Yamamoto pitched essentially a gem, and all it took was one run. And we got to give a hat tip to King. He really had a really great outing that day. But yeah, all Yamamoto allowed was one run on three hits, and that was all it took. But overall, we're still seeing really good things from our pitchers. The next game after that was Emmett Sheehan. And that had an exciting ending at the end of that game because it didn't quite look or like we knew which way it was going to go. But thanks to that insane at bat from Andy Pajes, which I need to get your thoughts on. Wasn't that a killer ending and off Mason Miller?
Yeah, and it kind of built off the game prior because Mason Miller was kind of up there struggling to find his feel, find his command. The difference in the first game kind of was the catcher winning the challenge for them, kind of giving them that strike and kind of giving that confidence to Mason Miller. Like, okay, like, we just got to locate strikes here, and it worked. Ultimately, they ended up getting the win there. But in game two, it didn't. Kind of a little risky play by Alex Call there. That big lead. He was out. He was gunned out. A better throw gets him, and then we're looking at a situation where we're heading into extra innings or potentially losing that game. Andy Pajes again has been the All-Star MVP of this team. I know people will argue Shohei because he does both, but without Pajes, I don't know where we would be at. Basically, he's kind of been the unsung hero of this team. Well, I don't think of his unsung because he's properly getting his flowers now from basically all corners of Dodgers fandom. So also had a big game today too as well. So for me, it's one of those moments. It's one of those pressure situations where you kind of hope guys kind of crack under that pressure. It's one of those learning experiences for Mason Miller.
Yeah.
I think he'll learn from it, and maybe later on, like in a pennant race or potentially in a playoff race and stuff like that, he learns from it. It's like, okay, just take your time. It's a simple throw to first base. Oftentimes, a lot of times, pitchers are too quick and like they want to get the ball there like in 100 miles per hour, and sometimes just like the easy direct throw to the first baseman, as we saw with Mookie Betts earlier today. Wasn't out, but it looked close enough to the point where I was at home kind of debating it. I'm like, I don't know, they might overturn this, but stuck with the call on the field. So we'll
Mm.
see. It was exciting. Actually, the game before that, there was also another little play where Kim kind of gets held up by Dino Ebo, and I was kind of sitting there like, it's a
Yeah.
one-run game. Like it doesn't hurt to kind of send them, but at the same time, it's like a bang bang play. You don't really know. I think Kim's kind of fast enough to kind of like tempt Tatis to kind of throw home. I don't know.
Mhm.
I would have preferred if we lost that game, like on the play of the plate. Like, all right, you know what? We went for it. He made a perfect throw. He gunned down our guy. All right, so be it. Instead of kind of like sitting on our laurels and being like contemplating, like, wow, man, it was a 1-0 game, and we kind of just look back at that play and like he should have just sent him.
We could have swept. That would have been it. And I was kind of like, a little bit, oh, we could have made it there. You have, like you say, Kim speed. But I get that they were, trying not to like, or they were thinking, hey, it still could have happened. They were trying to play it a little bit safe. You don't know if the ball's going to get home. Luckily, I know last episode you said hopefully Tatis wouldn't wake up, and he really didn't wake up. We were still at a 0 home run, so yay. But then we have Shohei Ohtani that went in the Padres series. And this was awesome off Vasquez. A home run to start off the entire game. One pitch, home run, the day he's actually pitching. And I know the big debate was should Shohei or is Shohei going to be, hitting on the days that he pitches? And he pretty much silenced that debate. And the answer is yes. Looks like, that could be the new or back to normal pattern. We'll see. But I kind of makes me think, do you think Shohei in the meetings, obviously he's in meetings with the front office, he himself has to have an adequate amount of say in what he does. And he's Shohei Ohtani. So do you think that Shohei himself is letting them know, hey, I can do this? And he does in fact.
Yeah, I think it's okay to kind of experiment early on in the season, kind of try new things. Sometimes you'll see managers kind of do guys in positions where they're not normally used to playing, kind of see like, let's see what this guy kind of gives me here. With Shohei, we know when it comes to it in September and October, he's going to be doing both. So it doesn't really matter if he doesn't do it against one particular team or like, hey, let's just focus on this or hey, don't do that. Ultimately, he has the final say. He'll let the guys know, the front office and the coaches being like, hey, maybe I'm not feeling to it. I don't really want to do both. I can just do pitching today. Or hey, um, I kind of been struggling a lot at the plate. Let me get some extra work in, come and get some BP and stuff like that, and let you know. Ultimately, it's the player's decision. If he feels comfortable with like, okay, just for today's outing, I'm going to focus on pitching. And I mean, you can't really argue it because when he goes out there on the mound, he's been dominant. So what are you going to tell him? Like, hey, we want you to do both. I know it's early on in the season and we're playing, I don't know, St. Louis. I know he didn't pitch against St. Louis, but like, we really need you to go do both. I think ultimately it depends on the matchup. The Padres, he was obviously going to do both. So it depends on who you're really playing. You kind of want to set the tone.
Yeah, it did help also that they knew that he had a day off the next day. And I think that that timed itself really well. I think they're going to do that again this coming week, if I'm not mistaken, that they're timing his pitching. And it kind of is probably going to work out nicely there. But yeah, the Dodgers ended up taking the series 2-1. Padres had the NL crown for 24 hours. They were very boastful about those 24 hours. But what I just thought was hilarious, it was, you had to have seen it, everyone saw it, the FTD burger at Petco Park, which maybe has been there for a while, I don't know. But it kind of went around the internet and everyone got a kick out of it. It had 3 rings, Anthony. 3 rings
Yeah.
at Petco Park. Oh, give me your thoughts, because I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's funny. The Dodgers often do this stuff as well too. When like teams from New York come, they'll have like specialty items like a New York style hot dog or pizza and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where I didn't really take anything. I thought it was hilarious. The 3 rings is kind of a funny thing too. I know what FTD stands for. I'm not gonna say it out here, but I think it's kind of just funny, playful banter, and that's what rivalries usually bring. Is kind of funny stuff. Usually when you veer from the funny stuff and it gets ugly, that's kind of where you're like, oh, this is really just a game. Like, what are we doing here? So I really had no issue to it. I thought it was hilarious. They probably sold a bunch of them, if I'm not mistaken, especially considering both all the LA fans and the San Diego fans there in the stadium. So again, not much to take from it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I have a friend who lives out in San Diego, and he goes to plenty of games, both though, down there at Petco Park and here in Dodger Stadium. And he's kind of like one of those people that can, like, really cool. He sees both sides of it, even though he acknowledges he's from San Diego. He sees everything down there, and he thought that was, like, a little rent free embarrassing for them, but he also got a good kick out of it. But yeah, let's kind of transition to the Brewer series, and they're doing pretty well coming into this series. There are ones that I know people were keeping a closer eye on, because they're having kind of like what you saw last season. They were, a lot of wins, racking up those wins in the Central. And if you remember a year ago, they swept us twice too. Both series, we couldn't beat them. And then we go ahead to go to the NLCS and sweep them. So you really can't put too much, emphasis on what happens in the regular season, but at the same time, their stadium packed up. I think Pantone was there, so we had a really
Yeah, they
good.
were there.
They were there, right? And they had a good showing. So it was just a lot of great Dodger energy in the stadium. Dodgers took the series 2-1. This is where you really got to see the bullpen start to, like, kind of go, hey. We've had 12 bullpen pieces in the last several weeks create kind of like, I guess, a record breaking 38 consecutive scoreless innings. So they're back to being the dogs. And luckily, we have this since Edwin Diaz's surgery. The bullpen ERA is below 220 as a whole. So 2.20. And Roberts described them today as confident. He's looking at them and saying, you know what, they have that confidence. They all want the ball. They all want to go out there. Do you think that's the key to their success right now? They're all holding that sense of confidence.
Yeah, and I think it's a philosophy that's kind of rolled over the years. If you look back to all the way to that 2024 team and maybe prior iterations of that, they kind of move as one. They make decisions as one. They kind of accolade a leader as one. For me, the bullpen is I can't even begin to say how much of a like major piece it is for us. The dog meter, if I had one, I haven't made one yet, but it would be basically all those guys on the list. That's why there's no point in putting out a graphic if all of them are going to be underneath one column. So every time I see a different guy pick up the ball, I'm extremely confident in the situation. Whether it's Will Klein, Edgardo, today Tanner Scott looked awesome to close out the game. So for me, those guys deserve their flowers. Again, my fear is overworking. Hopefully, it's kind of just like this isn't the best of the bullpen. This is not like the peak. Hopefully, they start peaking towards the end of the year as well too. And we don't know. We still have additions to it to go. Whether it's an Evan Phillips, whether it's and Edwin Diaz towards the later part of the year. So I think it's still a bullpen that's still finding its identity. It doesn't really have its top dog yet. I think it might be Diaz when he comes back, but who knows? An elbow injury. I know there's nothing wrong with the tendons and all that, but it's still kind of scary when you think about it.
Fair, yes. So we got to kind of watch that closely. But I'm just so impressed with Tanner Scott. Every time I see him, I feel nothing like what I felt a year ago when he comes out there. I'm seeing just his stride, his walk, his you can see the headspace when they're out there pitching, and it cannot be easy being a pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And you're seeing a man who has settled in and really showing that he's not afraid to go out there and he knows he's going to get that done. So I really hope that lasts. The next record that they are chasing, because right now they're at 38, would be I guess 44 scoreless innings is the current bullpen record, and that was done by the Kansas City A's in 1966. So I don't think the Dodgers care one way or another if they get that or not. They're just out there to do their job, clock in, clock out, and make it happen. But 38 to 44 is not that big of a jump, so we'll see if they hit that this week. Let's talk Wrobleski for a second. Wrobleski had a really great start or strong start to the season. We were seeing a super low ERA, and then he's had a couple of rough outings, especially this week. He had a rough first inning. The last time we saw him pitch this past week, he had 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks. It was a disaster of a first inning. Luckily, things got under control, but the damage was essentially done. We lost the first game against the Brewers. So that makes 2 tough starts on the season. And I want to get your take on him because I'm wondering, did the league figure him out? Is it just kind of the natural, where all starting pitchers are going to have those outings that just happen to happen, close in, the time frame of the season with the Braves and now the Brewers. What do you think?
It could be a little bit of both. He also played some really good teams in the Braves and the Brewers, so they're not gonna be different teams compared to other opponents he faced early on in the year. With Wrobleski, at this point, I'm kind of just looking at him as an innings eater. Just try to get our heavier guys
Yeah.
healthy at this point. But for me, he's kind of done the job pretty adequately. In that Braves game that I went to on Mother's Day, he was out there kind of competing, and it really wasn't only was just one bad inning he had. Unfortunately, it was kind of enough to kind of undo the Dodgers for the rest of the day. But I kind of feel like the offense let him down as well too there. And this time around against the Brewers, it's been another bad inning. So maybe it's kind of just a hiccup. Like, okay, that's 2 instances where it's been bad. I kind of want to see what he looks like on his third time around here later on in the week. If it's still bad, then maybe I'm like, okay, it's time to think about, is he really going to be a real option for us going forward until guys get healthy? Because right now I think he's kind of just filling the spot. Sasaki had a very good outing. Sheehan has kind of had a little bit of a rough roller coaster here or there. When do you go to Oklahoma City and employ the River Ryan card? That's an option that we have there, and a lot of people are kind of looking at him. He's throwing 100. He's been consistent, and they kind of want him to start using his bullets up here with the big team. So I think decisions will be made. I think they're going to give them another start or two on all these guys and see, like, okay, who has it, who doesn't, and then that's when they start deciding, like, okay, like we got to send you back down to kind of work on some stuff, kind of like figure out whether it's command issues or whether it's just you face 2 really good teams and they found a way to exploit your weaknesses.
Mm. Yeah, no, I feel it that the timing is like all essential with the front office and what they're thinking of doing. And they know that they probably have an idea of what they're going to do in terms of June, July, August, and September. But I definitely want to talk a little bit more about Roki because throughout this entire, first part of the season, you definitely said, we just got to let him figure it out up here. That was one of your big points. Because technically he is too good to be going down and getting his reps in triple A. He really does need to figure it out at the top. And I guess that's what the front office is. They're in lockstep with you because they are letting him. And even though we haven't always seen, perfect outings, he has that maybe one rough inning here and there that he definitely had this past series. He definitely gets together. And you're seeing overall, just the last 4 times he's pitched, he has pitched between 5 to 7 innings, which for him is a huge accomplishment. He's allowed 3 or fewer runs in each of those last 4 starts, and he's at a 3.52 ERA. He's essentially kind of has almost the same ERA as Emmett Sheehan. Emmett Sheehan has more wins, but that's, a lot of that's due to just the run support or just other aspects of the game. But essentially, the outing that he had this past week, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. I'm thinking that a little more time, a little more, patience with Roki is the key. Would you agree?
Yeah, and again, it's been such a roller coaster ride. I think in every bad like inning that he has, people are kind of fast to like, well, there it is. He's not been any good, and they kind of tend to ignore the last three quality starts that he's had. But you can see now, I think a lot of people are starting to see what we've seen, that the progression has been slow. We can all agree on that. That yeah, he's kind of been slow at progressing forward. But you can see that with every start, he grows in confidence. He's more aggressive with his pitch selection, whether it's the fastball, the split. For me, it was always a matter of like, I would just rather, if he's gonna be bad, have it be up here at the major league level, which I know it's insane, but you have that luxury of it being a long series, or not long series, a long season, where you can kind of take the lumps here and there. If so be it, if he loses his starts, but I'd rather have him, our guys, our pitching staff, and the management kind of looking at him from here instead of getting phone calls from guys down in AAA. And that's not a knock on the guys in AAA, but it's just better to have the product in front of you and be like, okay, where is he exactly struggling? Is it with command? Maybe he's like tipping pitches. Maybe he has to slow things down, stuff like that. And you saw it prior to it. Both not Sasaki, Yamamoto and Otani were kind of having conversations during the starts and like, hey, look at the way he's kind of holding his glove. It's kind of giving him an indication of like, hey, this is it's a fastball coming and stuff like that. So for me, it's been a very long progress. I'm happy he's succeeding. You can see that there's a very good starting pitcher there. Yes, he is still very young. Yes, he's still going to have outings where it's just not going to go well in his favor. But I'd rather have him here at the major league level and kind of learn from them than just be wasting bullets down in AAA.
Yeah, and he's not going to go back to the bullpen. I really don't think that that's the plan for him. He really is. They're developing him into a quality starting pitcher. What was nice to see today that we don't ever really we don't get to see this. Yamamoto got run support, and so that
Yeah.
was such a nice gift. He probably doesn't know what that feels like. He's 4-4 on the season with a 3.09 ERA. What was interesting, what Robert said after the game, is that what was employed today, and you kind of are seeing a little bit more, even though we know this is what he called the hallmark of what we do, meaning we get the opposing pitcher, knock him out of the game, and we take control of the game. And I see that that is something that, we've witnessed for a while, that the Dodgers have a plan. They will wear that pitcher down. And ultimately, once they take control, other team rarely gets it back together. So do you foresee that that's kind of the battle plan of the season, that the Dodgers just are going to stick to what they know how to do? They do it well. And regardless of even if Mookie's struggling, they have a battle plan, they stick with it. And that's what ultimately got us the 7-2 on this road trip.
Ultimately, yeah, they have a game plan, and it's been something that we've all complained about. They stick to their game plan, but I think during the regular season, that's when it works. Normally, your formula for how you handle things from the day to day in a long season is going to tend to work out more compared to like a short series in the NLDS, or even longer series in the NLCS, where teams can kind of like focus point. Okay, this is areas of weakness for this team. This is how we attack them offensively. Maybe we're a very bad team defensively. Just put the ball in play and like let them kind of like make mental mistakes on themselves. Like, so for me, over a long course of a season, the game plan that they have running, sometimes, yeah, it can be frustrating when you're up there and it's the fifth inning and sixth inning and guys only got one or two hits collectively as a team. And then sometimes it benefits you, like a game on Saturday where they explode offensively and you're not complaining and you're enjoying the game and everything is going well. So it's just the length of the season. I prefer game plans like that for it. In a shorter postseason, that's kind of where like, okay, we do have a game plan, but like if I
Mhm.
see visibly if like Shohei's out there mowing guys down and his pitch count's low and it's like the sixth inning and we're going into the seventh, that's when I'll give him the baton and be like, hey, I trust you, you're my guy. Go out there and go get me three more outs, basically, or however much longer you could go for. So yeah, it's frustrating because people will say, "Oh, they're too into the analytics and stuff like that." And like analytics does work. It tells you a story of what a player does throughout the whole length of a season. It only changes in the postseason when like random players at a time can get super red hot, and now you have to treat them like they're basically the second coming of Barry Bonds, basically.
Very Um, goodness, yeah, we're gonna get into all kind of like as we get into the half part of our season, we're gonna talk about just and it's already starting the chatter of who is going to be, the MVP, who's the runaway MVP. But even though this man probably won't take it, I really got to say we got to go into our weekly segment of how great is Andy Pajes. Let me tell you, offensively, defensively. I mean, we always see don't run on Andy Pajes. Look at that arm. Offensively, he is third in league in RBIs, 43 as of now. Um, he also is up there at the top of the list of outfield assists. He has all star written all over him. If this man doesn't get all star, I think we riot, right? But what I love
Yeah.
to see, what I love to see this week, and this is something Roberts addressed. I guess it was in yesterday's game. He looked like he was on second base for a while, and whether he was actually doing it or not, it looked like he was implying. I think it was Teo was at bat, giving him like I guess what they could call legal sign stealing because you're allowed to do that on second. And Roberts was asked about it, and he said, "Yeah, I think it just Pages just kind of from that angle, just trying to get into the pitcher's head because whether he has the calls or not, that's just in my opinion, I think it's Pages with a high baseball IQ, just trying to play all the different angles of the game. What are your thoughts on Pages just being the total player every week?
Yeah, it's again, it's ultimately a credit to him. 2 years ago, he was basically written off the team. Well, no, it wasn't 2 years ago. It was last year. Basically, he was kind of written off the team early because of his offensive struggles, and he's kind of molding himself into a kind of a five-tool player. Because whenever he threw someone out today, kind of rounding third, I forget who he threw out, but it was one of those plays where I'm like, in
Mhm.
my mind, you saw it develop in my mind. I'm like, this dude better not run on him because he's gonna gun him out. And sure enough, he did. For me, again, I think this is one of those solid, solidified pieces that we have in the outfield going forward. Kyle Tucker has had a very, very good, solid like past
Really
few
good.
weeks now. It's kind of been more than just like a blip. It's kind of been like, okay, he's figured some stuff out. So I feel comfortable with him. And Tail is slowly starting to figure some stuff out. I know opinion on him is so divided on social media, but ultimately when it gets going, I think in the playoffs, I think that's kind of when you need a Teoscar. You live with the defense and stuff like that. But for me, Pajes, I hope is slowly becoming into that like leader in the outfield. Yeah, he has a Teoscar Hernandez who makes a lot of money. Yeah, he has a Kyle Tucker who also makes a lot of money and has been to All-Star games and stuff like that. But for me, for them to be successful going forward, I need him to kind of step up into a leadership role. And you can Kyle is starting to slowly see it out
Mhm.
there. He is a bit of a quiet guy, but I'm thinking more long term when a Tibbs is up, when a
Mm,
DePaula is up, hopefully a Hope, all those guys, all those young guys that we got coming up into the outfield. Again, there's some big rumors out there of a potential left-hander available at the trade deadline. So I don't know how many of those guys will actually be Dodgers and then whether they go for it or not. So right now, this is all hypothetical. I'm thinking like, okay, Pages is the centerpiece of the outfield, and if you have two young guys come up there, he kind of has to be that leader for them and be like, hey,
mhm.
like don't worry about it. Yeah, like you're gonna have slumps and stuff like that because it's normal for a young player, but just follow my lead. Trust me out here. I've done it before. I've been an all-star. I played in the World Series and so forth and stuff like that. So again, I don't know how many of those young outfielders will have potentially, considering the news that dropped about someone that might be available at the trade deadline. So we'll see going forward. But for me, that's kind of the role I look at him. Like he has to be my leader out there in the outfield.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about that because I was kind of doing some calculations in my head of what it might take to get that potential piece at the deadline. But yeah, those are some definite kings we have in right and left field right now. Teoscar had a great series. He had 6 RBIs in yesterday's game, so definitely a standout performance. You see Tucker with his triple today, his double, 2 RBIs, and a lot of praise from Roberts. So things are kind of coming together nicely in our outfield. As per usual, Freddie Freeman this week had I think it was he's 29th place all time in career doubles with 561, and he's just on Carlos Beltran's tail, who has 565. So he's going to definitely hit that record. But the one I want to talk about is Mookie because there's a lot of chatter out there on him. I mean, he's obviously Mookie Betts. He's an elite player. He's a star. But you're seeing in some key situations quite a bit of pop ups, ground outs, probably going for the line drives, just not really getting them. But it kind of seems on at least the chatter online is that the days of a 35 homer season for Mookie Betts maybe of the past. Obviously, still a great shortstop, overall a great player. But the chatter or the question should be, I guess, do you think a move down in the order is the right move for Mookie? I mean, it kind of seemed to work for Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, I think so. I think with him also, the sample size is so small too, so the numbers just look disgusting. His average and his OPS, because of the injury and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I think he's kind of. It's going to be a roller coaster with him again. When we started the season, the early on predictions, I kind of felt like he has to have a back bounce back season because I was afraid that this might be the start of the decline of Mookie Betts offensively, and the oblique injury didn't help at all because it kind of shut him off for like a month essentially, and now he's back. So I kind of want to see what he looks like against Colorado, and I kind of want to see him going forward against Philadelphia, where it's another potential playoff matchup. I know early on in the season, so I kind of want to see how he looks against their pitching. And if he's struggling after those two series, that's when I kind of indicate like, okay, it might be time to kind of move him further down the lineup and kind of like
Mm,
see more pitches if that makes sense. Because I think right now they're kind of maybe ambushing him because they know Shohei's going to be the first one. And
right.
if you get past him, Mookie's kind of like scuffling up there at the plate. So you can kind of, if Shohei gets out, there's a high possibility that Mookie gets out. And before you know it, you're out of the inning.
What if he was to go down the like kind of taking into account the lefty righty lefty order? Do you think that you know where would you put him in like if he was to like maybe give it another week or so and he's not really like performing the way we want to? What would be a good combo for the top four through cleanup?
See, this is where it kind of gets like, because the lefty righty thing, yeah, and I don't want three just left-handed guys up there. I think that's kind of when you start having like Will Smith kind of like split them.
Mm,
Kind of like, okay, if I do lefty lefty and it's Shohei and then it's Freddie, maybe you have Mookie there in a potentially a third role. I definitely don't want to lower him further
same.
than three. Uh, but at the same time, I look at it, I'm like, if he continues to struggle, how can you justify him having him at the top of the lineup, kind of like making outs in big situations and stuff like that? But he is your superstar player, so you tend to do live and die by them.
Yeah.
For me, I think definitely it would have to be Shohei first, and then I mean, they experimented with Will Smith leading off in that one game about a week ago. So I don't know if they would necessarily have him bat second, but I don't know. I think for me, yeah, I think I would actually consider that. And then, man, you means I would have to lower Mookie to like fifth because now I'm thinking, okay, Ohtani, Smith, Freeman,
Yeah.
and then I slide Tucker into four, and then Mookie would be
Wow.
my
Mookie.
fifth. Yeah,
Crazy. That's a crazy thought. Mookie Betts, like, four-time champion as our fifth, but obviously this is just hypotheticals in our brains and we'll see that's not, what's going to happen. But it makes you wonder, like, kind of, what they must be thinking of what would be in the sense that there's, whether it's this year or the next year, or the year after that, there's going to be regression. The guys are
yeah.
getting older. These are thoughts and these are discussions they're going to have. Or maybe Mookie was just really spooked because there's that haunted hotel in Milwaukee and it was just a really bad situation. He does not stay there. But yeah, so maybe that was it. And he'll get it together when they go back home here to LA. But yeah, now kind of let's move our attention to some injuries because yesterday my heart sank when I saw this and I prayed to God this would be okay. Hopefully it will be. But Max Muncy, love him so much. Hit by pitch. Looks like from what we can hear, what we've been hearing, it's not the x-rays are fine, they're clean, and it looks like it's going to be kind of day to day. There's every reason to believe based on what they're saying that he'll be back this week, but they're also going to play it really careful with him. We also know that Kiké Hernández is scheduled to come back tomorrow. We're going to hear the Kiké music at the stadium again. I'm sure the fan base is going to love that, but that just means there's going to have to be a little bit of a switch around, some corresponding moves. Talk to me about Muncy, Kiké, and what do you think we'll see this week on our roster?
Yeah, the Muncie thing was very scary at first. Thankfully, X-rays came back negative. I
Mm-hmm.
do expect him to kind of go on the IL. I know they're saying like, oh, he doesn't necessarily need it, but I don't believe them when they say stuff like that because Tyler Glasnow was only going to miss one start and he should have been back with the rotation. And look at that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he hits the IL. Not the end of the world. For me, I think it's interesting because Kike is back. So is the move going to be Muncie for Kike just straight up? Because for me, I think this guy, I hate to bash him because he's such a lovely guy, but I think Kim has slowly kind of lost his spot on the team. He did so well beating out Alex Freeland for it, and you thought, like, okay, this might be the boost that he needs, the confidence that he needs. Like, yeah, I belong. And since then, offensively, he just hasn't provided much. It could be just that he's in an awful rut slump, but he is playing every day or close to almost every day, and he's not providing anything for us offensively. So you can make the argument like, yeah, it's just kind of like a numbers game because when Tommy Edman comes back up, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the end of days for Santiago Espinal. Uh, Eventually, I do think these guys in AAA, whether it's a Freeland or a Kim, they'll find their way back onto the big league team just because we have a lot of old guys and guys are going to get banged up here and there. It's unfortunate that it's kind of come to this where he didn't really solidify himself. Well, he did briefly, did enough to beat out Freeland so he doesn't get sent back down, but he hasn't really done enough to kind of keep his spot on the team. And we've argued this as long as you're playing for the Dodgers, your time is basically numbered, whether you're a superstar, because you can always be expendable for a trade, whether you're a guy in the minor leagues, because again, you can also be expendable for a trade, as we see there's rumors already flying around and stuff like that. Or if you guys on the bench who you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to be very good in my limited opportunities, and if I'm not providing anything for this team, they're gonna find someone. Because how many times have we seen the Dodgers bring in X player? Like, oh, the Dodgers have picked up a guy from the waiver wire and he's going to report to AAA, and we're like, who's this guy? And before you know it, he's playing for the big team and he's providing important innings for us and stuff like that. So for me, I think that's kind of the corresponding move. We're kind of just biding time.
And they have to know that too. I mean, when I guess, these young boys want as much, like I think Espinal said it, just very grateful for whatever opportunity that they can get to come up and learn and play with and make, a name for themselves. But this is a team of superstars and they obviously know where this is heading. This is getting set up for September and October. That's what ultimately the club is doing. And they know what they're looking for. They're going to make sure that they load manage, slow play, keep everyone in bubble wrap as possible because they're going to unleash holy hell in October. And that's the plan. And a lot of these guys probably know that they're not going to be the go-tos at that point. But credit to them. They are, still an important part of our team now. And if we do get a ring, they get one too. But I want to ask you about this guy. Love him. Our Bazooka put out a cryptic message this week on his Instagram. And it was, you've seen this. He said, baseball is not easy, but it's no reason to give up. He added on his Instagram after that, I know God has better things in store for me. I'm a warrior. I do not give up. I keep fighting. So read between the lines. We already know he's going to hit free agency this offseason. Is the writing on the wall, Anthony? Have we seen the last of Bazooka on the mound as a Dodger?
Hopefully not, because it's a very sad way for him to end his tenure with us via injury. For me, he's been a very big piece for all two of the world. Well, he's won three, but he was hurt for all of last year.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's unfortunate because the potential was there when we first got him. He's like, wow, this like young guy who just throws absolute firepower from the bullpen. He's kind of solidified himself with that 2020 team, and in 24 too, he comes back from that injury where he hurts himself and he motions to his hamstring. And you think, oh, dude, this dude kind of tore it off the bone, and he
Mm.
miraculously like rehabs, and he's part of that legendary bullpen committee now that we all come to love. And for me, it is very sad because he worked so hard rehabbing. He's done interviews and like stuff during the offseason talking about that he's always in pain. So that's also something that's like, man, like if you're always in pain, like I tend to start to think of stuff like, well, how much longer do you really want to do it if you're just always in pain? Again, ultimately, I don't know if he's gonna elect for surgery. Back injuries are very, very tricky. Just look no further than Clayton Kershaw. Every time his back's like sparked up, Tyler Glass now is going through it right now, but it happens to be just cramps and spasms. But when you start talking about surgeries and back, that's when I get to start worrying. I'm like, man, maybe it's like something like further like discs and stuff like that. And that's a long recovery process. So for me, I do think it might be the end of the line for him, unfortunately. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping like there's an outside miracle where he's able to find himself here providing for us and stuff like that. But ultimately, that post was kind of cryptic enough to the point where I kind of got the idea. I'm like, yeah, this might be it for him. He kind of has an idea. It might be it for him. Who knows in the offseason as well, too, because he's missed 2 seasons now. And we don't know yet. We don't want to speculate whether he's going to get back surgery or not. How many teams are willing to take a risk on him and be like, well, we're going to see what you have and stuff like that. So hopefully it's not the end of his career. Hopefully it's just a minor, just it's been like a snowball, like one injury test the other, past the other. And it's kind of like, it kind of puts forward that like, yeah, like it's ultimately his choice whether he wants to continue going forward. Ultimately, he did attempt to rehab. He stayed in additional spring training and all that, he was on that rehab assignment with Kiké, and that's when his back kind of flared up. So ultimately, it's more of a mental battle for him. Again, starting from square one, it's very frustrating. So we'll see what happens with him. It's a very disappointing thing for him.
It's disappointing, and I totally love him. He's like our big teddy bear. But you do kind of have to think that pitching isn't just about the arm. That's obviously a huge piece of it. But for a pitcher to be successful on the mound, I mean, it almost takes their whole body to do that. And so you even saw today, I think, or this weekend, with the Blue Jays, Dylan Cease, he had to exit the game, and injuries are just one day they can be fine, and the next day something can flare up, and you never really know what's going to come of pitchers and their careers, because it is such a strenuous type of job for them. So we obviously wish him nothing but the best. But the one that is going to officially hang it up, we got official word today, and it was kind of back and forth this week. Was it going to happen? Was it not going to happen? Is he retiring? Is he, changing his mind? No, it is official now. Chris Taylor, our CT3, he is going to, at age 35, retire officially. Now, he's obviously no longer a Dodger. He was in the Angels system. But we acquired him in 2016 from the Mariners for Zach Lee, 2 World Series rings later, 1 All-Star team, a co-NLCS MVP in 2017, and over 10 years of MLB service time. The man is a legend, hands down. One of the best moves Andrew Friedman made in the Andrew Friedman era. Would you agree? He's amazing.
Yeah, legend of Dodger baseball.
Yeah.
For me, ultimately, he's the example of what the Dodgers farm system. I know we didn't come through ours, but it kind of rehabilitates players, and he's no other perfect example. Justin Turner as well too. For me, Chris Taylor. Uh, it sucks that he had to retire like this on some random AAA team. I know he's with the Angels, but that's a shot at the Angels, a random AAA team. For me, ultimately, when I look back at it, I look back at a guy who was again a bench guy. He was going to be platooning here and there, and he kind of gave the Dodgers front office no reason to get rid of him. He made the most of every opportunity he was provided for. I can continue to list the multitude of big moments he had in the playoffs. Again, the very first World Series I ever saw the Dodgers play in 2017. First pitch, Chris Taylor just takes Dallas Keuchel yard, and it's like such a jubilation. And before that, the series before that against the Cubs, where he wins NLCS MVP. And then if you look forward, you look at moments where he hits that home run against the Cardinals in the wild card series, the 3 home run game against the Braves and stuff like that. So for me, Chris Taylor, it's sad to see him retire, but ultimately, I think he's at peace with it. Again, it's one of those situations where we're getting kind of into June, July. Are you realistically going to have an opportunity here at the major league level, even with the Angels and stuff like that? I don't think so. I think it's good for him to kind of go out on his own terms. Again, ultimately, had to retire due to injury, but it's not something that's going to be debilitating going forward. Just had a fracture forearm. He probably looked at his situation, he looked at the Angels, and he probably was given a timeline like, yeah, the forearm might keep you out for a while, for like, maybe I'm speculating here, 2 to 3 months. And at that point, do you really want to grind through it, grind through it, grind through it? Ultimately, he's probably like, no, you know what? I've given. He ultimately said it in his post, like,
Right.
I've given the game ultimately all I can give it. He's proud of like the legacy that he leaves behind here with the Dodgers. And then I said it too. I shared it a couple of days ago. I hope the Dodgers do kind of like give him a day, kind of to give him like kind of what Matt Kemp did, kind of sign a 1 day with the team, kind of retire with the team, present him with his World Series ring, present him with his jersey, kind of give him that moment because he deserves to kind of get one last ovation from the crowd here. I know he's a very relatively quiet guy. He probably doesn't want all the pomp and circumstances. He probably just kind of wants to like fade into the darkness and stuff like that. But I would love for him to kind of get his moment here in front of us.
I think he deserves it. I mean, he is so pivotal to so many of those big moments for us. And I think the fan base adores him and wants nothing but the best for him. He may be on that other team, but I think in our hearts, he's a Dodger. He's a Dodger at heart. And to have that 1 day contract would be a nice way to honor him. So definitely wish him, not him, his wife. I think he has 2 boys. Is that correct? Two boys.
Yeah,
marry. Obviously, he has a young family, gets to enjoy that. So we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. But yeah, the big news in the last couple days, per Bob Nightingale, looking ahead to the trade deadline, the Tigers could potentially consider trading Tarek Skubal. MLB executives believe that the Tigers may have no choice, that was the quote, but to trade Skubal at the trade deadline, and four finalists expected to be a part of that trade. Obviously, the Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays, and Padres. And my question to you is, one, do the Padres have anyone left in their farm system that they could trade? I don't even know. And if Skubal is in fact traded, would Andrew Friedman have the golden package to put together for getting him?
Ultimately, yeah. It depends on whether you can convince them to sign long term with us. I don't know if that's going to be a caveat in the potential deal. I don't even want to like begin to even speculate that. But for me, I think the Dodgers are better positioned farmed wise. I know people kind of say like our farm system has been awful and is overrated and all that, all of the fun stuff you hear on socials and stuff like that. But for me, we just have a plethora of outfielders, and it's kind of like the Tigers are kind of circling the drain. There's still a lot of season left, but it's not looking good. They lost again via walk off today, so they're kind of like in the bits of it. Who knows? Maybe they do rebound, and by the time he's healthy, they are competitive and they see a real chance of keeping him. But ultimately, I think it comes down to in the offseason, they went to arbitration with him and weren't willing to pay him what he
Right.
wanted. So what's the point of staying with this team if you know you're not going to get the money you want? So ultimately, it's a chance for him to compete. A lot of teams on that list are competitors for the World Series, not necessarily just us. You listed the Yankees, you listed the Padres and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think it comes down to the Tigers front office. Are you really going to re-sign him in the offseason? If so, why didn't you do it the prior year? Why did you avoid this kind of drama that you brought on yourselves? For me, I think Friedman, it'd be interesting to see if he goes all in because you're already a two-time back-to-back World Series champion. Do you kind of risk going for the three-peat and like deplete yourself of younger players, knowing that most of these guys are kind of over the hill anyway, and you're kind of looking towards a youth potential movement? You also have to realize, okay, if it does happen, and we get locked out, okay, what's the next step? Because are these guys going to be grandfathered in? Will there be a salary cap? So there's a lot of that goes into like this move. I don't know if he's going to be willing to kind of meet the asking price, whatever that asking price is. Maybe there is a different team. Ultimately, my gut says you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to go in. Ultimately, it's up to the Tigers whether they decide to accept our whatever offer we throw out there. But me, at least early on, my thought is, man, you kind of just have to go for it. And if you get the three-peat, it's worth it. Whatever it's worth it. Yeah, because now you go into the next offseason, you're probably locked out, but you look back at okay, the first 3 years of Shohei, we got three of these. And okay, now how do we rebuild for the latter half of his career? So for me, early on at least, I'm thinking, okay, if he is truly available, because right now it's just rumors. I don't know if he really, really is available or not. But the
Mhm.
moment the front office for the Tigers comes out and says like, "Yeah, we're listening on offers," I think you kind of got to go full court press on them.
Andrew Friedman's mind is already turning. And as far as, Tarek Skubal, yeah, it's Tarek freaking Skubal. You have to get yours. You can't just ignore that. The man is insane. And, he can ask himself, do you want onion rings and go to the Padres, or do you want actual rings and come to the Dodgers?
Yeah,
The truth is, you want actual rings. But that's going to be something to keep our eyes on, because can you imagine our show, Anthony, the day that we potentially get Batman at trade deadline? Oh my God, that'll be amazing. So fingers crossed on that, but that is definitely something to circle on our calendar. Trade deadline this year could be a lot of fun. But what also could be fun is the predictions that are now kind of like, updating themselves day by day. But the National League Cy Young chatter has kind of, according to FanDuel, odds favor right now is Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies. Now let's get it clear. That guy is insane. And he is so good. His numbers look phenomenal. Shohei is in fifth place behind Sanchez, Paul Skeens, The Miz, and Chris Sale, Yamamoto being seventh. Do you think Ohtani is underranked? Because keep in mind, he's got, what, a 0.7273 ERA? Or does that look right about right to you?
No, I think it kind of is about right. I think it's kind of become a fatigue thing with Otani when he gets kind of ranked in these because you can't have him always be number one. Although we always want him to be number one, you kind of have to include debate. It's kind of healthy to have debates about like, well, yeah, he kind of did stink this week, but you know what? This week afterwards, he was awesome. So it's just a fluctuation of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of it, he's the number one player on that list. It's not fun for him to always be number one. It's always kind of fun to kind of like, okay, hey, look, they think you're like the fifth place. He's number five on that list, right?
Five. According to
Yeah.
Fan. Yeah.
It's kind of like a fun thing to be like, hey, they think you're the fifth best player on this list, and like go out there and kind of prove them wrong. And like it kind of gets people rethinking their decisions and stuff like that. So I really don't. And again, I don't think he's someone that kind of looks at these stuff and is like, oh, they really think this. I think he looks at it, probably has a chuckle, and continues about his business. This is kind of just stuff for us to debate, for other fan bases to debate, for the media to debate, to get the clicks and stuff like that. So for me, I think ultimately, when it comes to it, when the money is on the line and I see him out there on the mound or on the base or on plate or on the base, I know he's going to do something winning for us to kind of get it over the hump for us.
It's exciting. I mean, knowing Ohtani, he's going to give us a show no matter what. And ultimately, I think that a Cy Young is potentially in his future, one way or another, whether it's this year or in the future. But those are all some amazing names to see on that list. So fun times to look forward to. But yeah, some really great pitching in the MLB. So up next is the Rockies. They come to town tomorrow. And I guess I think it's followed by the Phillies. So that's going to be a really fun week. Lots of great promotions at the stadium. But let's kind of talk about what you think our Rocky series will look like, because it's the Rockies. We obviously, everyone loves to say we should just sweep them, but that's not always what happens. What are your predictions for this series? How will the Dodgers stack up against the lowly Colorado team?
This is where like in football they'll say this is a trap game because I'll use the Rams for example. If the Rams are playing a lowly opponent that has like two wins, but on the next week they got Seattle lined up, all those players are going to be looking forward to Seattle. So the
Exactly.
Dodgers, we are playing the lowly Rockies. We know what's next after you're playing Philadelphia. Please, please just show up. Show it everything that took like all the good positive momentum that you have from the past two games here against Milwaukee. Please apply the pressure to the Rockies. Do not let them linger into this game. Don't let it be the sixth or seventh inning and it's a 0-0 game and you only have three hits collectively as a offensive unit. No, please just take care of business. If you drop a game, okay, so be it. Again, I'm not upset when they lose games. I'm more upset about the process and how they lost the game. Typically, it's because they don't show up offensively. They don't provide for their starting pitcher, whoever might be on that bump that day, to go for it. But please, please just take care of business. Take at least two games from the Rockies. If you drop one, so be it. I know we're looking forward to that Philadelphia series because, again, it's another potential playoff matchup. The Phillies are really, really, really good right now. And I kind of want to see how we match up against them again. But don't overlook the Rockies. Take them seriously. That's me begging at this point.
What are who are the expected starting pitcher? I know Otani's going to pitch on Wednesday, so maybe
Yeah.
for the day off. So what is it? Sheehan tomorrow?
Yeah. Let me give me a sec. Let me check it here. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it will be Sheehan.
yeah. And we're gonna have a packed stadium because this week's promotions are insanity, like so good. But yeah, definitely check on that tomorrow night for those of you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tomorrow it'll be Freeland versus Sheehan.
okay.
On Tuesday, oh, Eric Lauer actually makes a start for us on Tuesdays, or yeah, Tuesday. So it kind
Flower.
of be interesting to see what he has. So
Okay.
I'm actually interested in that game now. And then Shohei will get the Wednesday game.
Here's why you're interested in Tuesday. It's Mexican Heritage Night, and we all know how
Yeah.
fun it was last year. Are you going to any of the games this week?
No, I will not be going to any games this week. I've actually, oddly enough, I will be on vacation at the start of June. So I've kind of, it's not a money pinching thing, but I kind of like, I have some awesome things kind of planned out where I'm like, okay, I'm more interested in that. Again, typically I would be at it, but again, it's midweek. It's the Rockies. The matchup is just like, do I really want to go watch them play the Rockies and probably lose? So far, to games I've been to, I'm 1-1. Probably should have lost that game where Muncy hit that walk off, but I'm not going to complain. I'm 1-1. So that's my record.
There'll be more games. But yeah, tomorrow night is Dave Roberts bobblehead night for those of you who are headed to the stadium. I think he's going to be in the gold jersey. That's really cool. Mexican Heritage Night is Tuesday, so that'll be a fun night. The Last Out by Yamamoto is Wednesday night's bobblehead. I'm going to be at Friday night's game, the Alex Vesia bobblehead. So I'm very excited to get that one. And then I think the Throwing Seeds Teoscar Hernandez bobblehead will be on Saturday. So any night this week that you head out to the stadium, if you are going to go, it should be a blast. But with that, that brings me to the end of my notes. Do you have any final thoughts, Anthony?
Any final thoughts? Again, please just take care of business against the Rockies. I know man, it's just frustrating when they don't take care of these teams they're supposed to beat. I know it's a divisional opponent, but please just take care of business. I know we're looking forward to the Philly series, but after that, it's really no more final thoughts. Again, I couldn't be more happier with the situation with our bullpen, our starting pitchers. Again, offensively, it's kind of been the roller coaster, but hopefully they figured some stuff out and they build momentum off it.
I hope so. And we can have, I've missed my Panda Express, so please get us some wins because I need to get my Panda plate. But definitely going to be fun nights. Should be great weather, great times at the Ravine. But yeah, it's also going to be Memorial Day, and I said you're working, but for those who are not or working or however you want to say it, it is a day that we all want to acknowledge. So happy Memorial Day. Everyone enjoy your holiday. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We are actually well on our way, Anthony, to 30,000 subs. That is
Yeah,
incredible.
I saw.
That is a team effort. So we want to give a big shout out to producer Raj and the entire team, the reporters behind the scenes, everyone at DodgersBeat.com, like Cody and Steve, and all of the reporters in the clubhouse who get all of the great footage for you day in and day out. We also want to give a big shout out to Adam Lopez. We want to give a big shout out to Kohei. So everyone that is involved with the team, we really do appreciate. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and yay for all of the great support that we have enjoyed, especially in the last couple of years as we've been on this winning streak with back-to-back champs. And don't forget to check out our handles. You can find me, Drea, on Instagram and X at Ravine Queen 1958, and you can find Anthony on X and Instagram at Anthony Acosta_. And until next week, let's go Dodgers.